Welcome to Lydia's Lunch Bunch, Western Maine edition with Mark and Jacey, where we spotlight the people, businesses, and stories shaping communities in Oxford, Norway, South Paris, West Paris, and beyond. We're expanding the conversation while keeping the same mission, highlighting the people making a difference in our region. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com, and remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
Our guest today is Pink Feather Foundation co-founder Jen Kyllonen. The Pink Feather Foundation improves the lives of students by partnering with teachers to confidentially provide clothing and accessories at no cost. She was just tremendous.
Absolutely amazing.
We got to interview Jen a couple of weeks ago, and we're playing that interview for you today. And some pretty exciting news with the Pink Feather Foundation as well. They have a new forever home located at 65 King Street in Oxford, and they're going to hold their open house and ribbon cutting on June 12th at 4:30 p.m. What a process that has been. Yeah, we got to talk to Jen all about that as well, and we can't wait for you to hear that interview because she is just an incredible human being doing incredible work. Before we get to all that, let's take a look at some headlines for Wednesday, May 27th.
Governor Janet Mills is launching a new statewide system for tracking sexual assault kits. Advocates say the program will give survivors more transparency about where their evidence kits is in the process after an exam. The state supplemental budget will fund the program.
The Sun-Journal reports that Androscoggin County Commissioners will hold a workshop next week to discuss a proposal by Auburn Mayor Jeffrey Harmon to consolidate Lewiston-Auburn's and Androscoggin County's dispatch centers. The merger could increase efficiency, reduce costs, and give the county sheriff's department a future on Center Street in Auburn.
LA Arts in downtown Lewiston are partnering to offer a spring social, an evening celebrating community, creativity, and connection in the heart of the city. The event will bring together local residents, artists, business owners, nonprofits, and anyone who cares about the future of downtown Lewiston. It's happening tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. at LA Arts at 168 Lisbon Street.
And the City of Auburn announced the inaugural Tailwinds and Tailpipes Aircraft and Classic Cars show. The event will take place at the Auburn-Lewiston Municipal Airport on June 13th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be a fly-in with the Maine Aeronautics Association, a Young Eagles rally, and free flights for ages 8 to 17, along with food trucks, static aircraft, and public safety displays. Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
It'll be cloudy today with some sunshine peeking through later this afternoon. A high of 79 and a low of 58. And you don't want to know the rest of the week.
It gets worse,
I heard. Cloudy tomorrow with afternoon showers, high of 64 and a low of 51, and cloudy on Friday with evening rain, high of 62 and a low of 47.
In sports, the Red Sox did what the Red Sox do. They lost to the Atlanta Braves 7-6. They'll play again tonight at 6:45 at Fenway Park.
Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla was named the NBA Coach of the Year. Mazzulla led Boston to the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, playing much of the season without All-Star Jason Tatum. Mazzulla was asked a couple of months ago about the possibility of winning Coach of the Year. He said, "I don't need it. I think it's a stupid award."
Well, congratulations, Coach, on your stupid award. Well deserved. On the high school scoreboard in baseball, Freeport beat Poland 7-5. Levitt shut out Lincoln Academy 6-0. Lisbon over Mountain Valley 8-5, and Oxford Hills beat Edward Little 11-3. In softball, Levitt trounced Lincoln Academy 20-2. Oxford Hills edged Edward Little 4-3, and Poland beat Freeport 12-5. In boys lacrosse, it was Brunswick over Oak Hill 18-5. Levitt beat Oxford Hills 10-8, and Lewiston over Coney Halldale 8-7. In girls lacrosse, Lake Region downed Levitt 8-2. In boys tennis, Edward Little beat Lewiston 4-1, and in girls tennis, Edward Little beat Lewiston 4-1. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is Sweeping the Twin Cities. You beat me to that one. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for May the 27th, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. It's going to be short and sweet.
Yep.
Jack McBrayer is 53 years old today. He played Kenneth the Page on 30 Rock. Todd Bridges is 61 years old today. He played Willis on Different Strokes. He was the target of the catchphrase, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Gary Coleman delivered the line, and Todd had to sit there and take it.
Oh, wow.
And rounding out FPBs for May the 27th is comedian and podcaster Adam Carolla, who is 62 years old today. He's a former co-host of The Man Show, and he also, back in his formative years as a comedian, performed a character on the radio called Dingo Boy, which was half dingo, half man.
Oh.
It was hilarious. Take my word for it.
Okay.
All right. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day.
4 years ago in 2022, Top Gun Maverick was released.
Didn't see it.
Me neither.
No, I never even saw the original.
I almost skipped that one, but I figured you'd have something to say about it.
No, I don't. I don't. If Sarah was here, she would have something to say about it. Sarah is not a fan of Tom Cruise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
11 years ago in 2015, Tracy Morgan settled his lawsuit with Walmart over the accident with one of their trucks that left him seriously injured. There's no word how much they paid, but he said, quote, "Walmart did right by me and my family."
That sounds like at least 7 figures to me.
32 years ago in 1994, The Flintstones was released, starring Rosie O'Donnell as Betty Rubble and Halle Berry as Fred's secretary. That kind of rhymed. Flintstones. I feel like I definitely watched Flintstones.
The cartoon or the live action movies?
Oh, I watched the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon was incredible. It was flawless.
I don't think I watched the movie.
Yeah. After seeing the cartoon, it's like, well, that's perfection.
Right.
How can they top it?
Why would we try to change it?
Right. Stop it, Hollywood.
39 years ago in 1987, the sound system at a U2 concert in Rome was so loud, neighbors thought an earthquake had hit and they flooded the emergency lines with panicked calls.
It was actually Sarah just yelling at the top of her lungs how much she hates U2 for putting their album on her iPhone.
Her earthquake-worthy rage.
Yes. Just pounding the ground.
Yeah.
Just hating U2 with every fiber of her being.
Oh my goodness. Lastly, 90 years ago, in 1936, the Queen Mary made its maiden voyage. It was retired in 1967 and permanently docked in Long Beach, California, where it's still open as a tourist attraction and has allegedly become haunted.
Would you check it out if you had the opportunity?
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be creepy, but it would be a cool experience.
Yeah.
For sure. Would you?
I think I would, because I don't believe in that stuff. And the reason I don't believe in it is because I've never been exposed to it.
Okay.
So it might make a believer out of me.
Yeah.
Who knows? Those are your FPBs and OTDs for May the 27th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the LA area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
Mark and Jacey taking the show on the road once again. It is our special Western Maine edition of the Lunch Bunch podcast, and we want to give a shout out to Nancy Cushman for letting us use her beautiful room here at Speedway Inc. It's very fancy.
It is very fancy.
This is the room where decisions are made.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Comfy chairs. Long table.
Yeah.
Feels like.
Still feel Bob sitting here.
That's right.
You know?
Yep. Before he gets ready to leave for lunch over at Steve's.
Right.
And we have the pleasure of being joined here at Speedway Inc. by Jen Kyllonen, who is a co-founder of the Pink Feather Foundation. How are you, Jen?
I'm super. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. We so appreciate your time. And Jen, for folks who aren't familiar with the Pink Feather Foundation, what can you tell us about it?
Well, actually, we are celebrating 15 years being a nonprofit this year. We started back in 2011 with our small children and wanting to get back to the community. And from that, and years later, we evolved and created a package program for our teachers in MSID 17 and RSU 16. So we take in gently used like new clothing, and it's a full process. So we bring it in, we check it over for rips, stains, tears, broken buttons, missing zippers, basically quality control. We've created our own SKU system, and we take 2 photos of it. We have an online password protected store, quote unquote, for our teachers to sit down and actually shop with kids. So this is a whole experience. These are the kids that are in need and never have gotten to shop, online at one of the big box stores, and they get to pick out their favorite red shirt and a pair of sneakers, and then that comes to us via email when an order is created. And then our volunteers swoop through our store and package this up in a really great suitcase style box. And it's delivered it's all confidential. We only know who the ordering teacher is by one of our volunteer delivery drivers right to the school. And lots of times the little kids, they're so excited and they'll bring that box home. And most of our teens want to be a little bit more private about it. They're excited and thankful, but they're going to put that in their backpack and bring it home. So it's a really, really cool experience from the ordering and the volunteer end. That's really brought this community together. So
That's amazing.
Incredible. What was the inspiration behind creating the Pink Feather Foundation?
The inspiration was our kids were young, and we felt like the barn raising days weren't happening. We wanted to see that happening more in our community, and people coming together, and wanted our children to grow up doing those things and being involved in that. And so that was our initial inspiration. The package program was an inspiration by a kiddo that was in need at Christmas time. Phew, this is always a story I can't tell without. So we rallied the communities together that we serve, and it was amazing. They came together with clothes, and it was Christmas time. So, we really wanted her to have a great Christmas. And at that time, we had our local PD deliver the package again because it was confidential who the child was. And she just came back to school a different kid. She was fully engaged in the classroom. She was handheld high. Her hair was done. And that's the difference we want to make in these kids. They just want to fit in, and we want them to have the best school experience that they can. And the teachers are pressured and sourced out of all of their funding to make that classroom happen. So this was our sign, and from there the community just has really rallied and surrounded this, from starting in the living room to above my 2-car garage to our first spot. Again, Nancy Cushman stepped in and said, "Hey, I've got this spot right over in the mall. Why don't you start here?" And here we are, our 7th move, and we'll be in our forever home within a month. So we're really excited.
Yeah. Who else do we need to thank for the creation of the Pink Feather Foundation?
Oh, so originally the thought came from Rachel Herrick. She was the one with the idea. Everyone always asks about the name, the Pink Feather, and these ladies were out and about, and they were having a great time, but they realized their pink feather boas that they had were, falling off wherever they went. So they were definitely making an impression wherever they went. So that's really where the name derives from. And at the time, so it was Rachel and Pam Grondin, myself, and Joni Gordon. And, life has different avenues, and Joni and I have kind of taken this part of the program under our wings, and here we are today. So it's pretty incredible story.
Here we are today. It's got to have special significance this year because a few minutes ago you mentioned the words forever home.
Yes.
For an organization that has already moved 7 times in 15 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us about that Forever Home.
Yeah. So we bounced around. So we had a couple of other spots here locally. We were across from the Speedway for a few years, and then we were housed over on Alpine Street for a few years. All these, it sounds like a lot, but had we picked this Forever Home our first year, we would have definitely been doing ourselves a disservice. We've learned something and grown and built this program to where it is today and understand what the needs are of the program. And that's been really important. And then John Quirk was great. He bought the property over at Alpine and Aldrich, and he was great through the process, and I really applaud him for keeping people employed here locally. It was hard for us, of course, but then Chris Davis and Brian Landis offered us the top floor over at the old town office in Oxford. That took the entire basketball team and another 20 people to get us moved in up there, but we've successfully have provided 216 packages to local kids, even through the cold winter and all of that. The downside was that we were unable to have our volunteers still coming in and keeping our inventory built up and processed. So I've kind of taken that role on and just filled the packages, which was great. But we have a 48 by 100 square foot Forever Home that will be ready in about a month.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you, that this hasn't been without a lot of long nights and tears, and, building is very stressful. But I have to give a huge shout out to Wallace Home Improvement, Craig Construction, and White Construction. We had to make a contractor change, and they met with us on Friday, and they were on site Monday morning. And we had a very cold winter. They were there, relentless, days in, days out, and in less than 1 year, here we are. We're gonna move in. Other folks that I have to give a shout out. I'm Sam Cronin with Mainline Plumbing and Heating himself, and working with his vendors has really made this project a feasible thing to make happen. Again, Nancy here at Speedway Inc. sent Cackle over, and he was breaking ground June 29th last year. It started out about being the kids that we serve, but really it is the volunteer part of this program that's really incredible too, and what brings everyone together, again, is what we wanted to have happen back in 2011 when we started. So we've got some great space that we'll call our future space, and we hope that that's going to see other projects within the community happen right out of that building. So 65 King Street, right between both districts. So it will be great for the high school kids that come and volunteer, for our delivery drivers that volunteer to deliver to both of the districts. I'm just so excited. Yeah. So
what's it going to look like inside?
No bells and whistles. We knew, like I said, this will be our 7th move home, and the moves all taught us something, and very confident what we needed for space to be able to serve the 2 districts. And that was 4,800 square feet, and primarily it's all warehouse space. We house about 15,000 to 18,000 items to be able to service the kids, because again, this is it's an experience. It's not just, well, there's only 2 to pick from. No, this is, oh my gosh. Oh, I really like that pink shirt. And, that's that moment we want for the kids. So it's really important for us to keep our inventory high. And then you'll walk in the front door, and that will be our processing area where our photography happens and all of our packaging happens. Yeah, some great space upstairs. Again, that will be a future project, whether that looks like our prom project, or we collect, sports equipment for kids to be able to make sure that they're, involved in a sport if they can't do it financially. And yeah, it won't be fancy, but it will be spacious and just, yeah. I mean, I think it's beautiful.
Sure.
Did you expect Pink Feather to grow into this when you first started?
I had no idea that we would ever get to the point where we knew we were affecting thousands at this point. Whether it's the kids that we're we're providing for, or the volunteers, and just the community involvement really has been an experience I wasn't prepared for, so yeah.
And can you talk about that a little bit, how you were received or are received by this community?
Oh gosh, I feel like wherever we go, it's, because it's a confidential program, we don't often hear, but I shared the post last week when I got to the building, and I went there to paint, and I don't know if they came before and I just didn't see it, or as I was leaving, there was a note that was taped to our door. And it was from one of the kids that got a package, and, just in his little handwriting, so that's what keeps me driven. But, everyone's just really excited to get back to it and get together to be able to volunteer. We have a great group, the Navigators with John F. Murphy Homes, that comes every week. I ran into Carol Kane and Mark's mom, Mark Halley's mom, at 290 the other night, and they were like, we can't wait to come and iron again. And, it's so great. And just, we have always said from day one, we have something for if you're 5 years old or 95, that there's some part of this program that you can help with.
So even with the new space, you're all set for staffing, or are you looking?
It's all volunteer based.
Yep.
So, so we'll open our doors back up once we get in there and we kind of get working a little bit. We'll have more of a set schedule for volunteers. We're just not quite sure what that's going to look like. Just not knowing the timing exactly of when we'll get everything, situated. But there'll definitely be some open volunteer times, but we're always going to take appointments. Mm-hmm. So like the girls softball team from Bates comes and we set that appointment up. The girls from Triple Lake Camp come over every summer. Mm-hmm. It's just really neat to be a place that the kids like to come. Mm-hmm. We keep the music going and keep it fun. We have most of our teens could probably run the program without me saying a peep. Again, we've built that program, and we know what works really well for us to keep everything neat and organized. And, I generally can pack a couple of packages within 10 minutes and get back out the door and back to work if I need to. Mm-hmm. But that's because all of our volunteers are excited and they're paying attention to detail, and, and they just take so much pride in it. And it's really great.
If someone wanted to volunteer, do they reach out to you? How would they go about that? Yeah,
so we have, right on our website, we have a spot for volunteers to be able to provide their information, what they be interested in helping with, but definitely reach us on Facebook or by email. All of our info is right on our Facebook page. Christina Noonan over in Minot, she helps keep us organized and our website looking just great. We're really, really lucky to have her on board with helping us, get things designed and laid out. We just had a major website overhaul, making it easier for shopping and, little things that you don't think about that, if you go online and it's set up a certain way and we realize, oh, well, ours isn't like that. Oh, now it makes it really quick,
Yeah.
So again, we're always trying to evolve and learn too, even though we feel like we've got it running pretty well, but I think everyone needs to, always be looking for change, and updates that can make things run smoother.
Yeah.
So,
for folks who may not be able to volunteer, Jen, for one reason or another, how can they support your mission?
Oh gosh, there's always little ways, and that will be my big push actually when I get in this building. I think people get overwhelmed with, if I can't be all in, then I'm not helpful, and I think that's so untrue. And I think I want to come up with that way to help people feel like if I've got 10 minutes or I've got an hour or two, or if I, can help with this whole project. But obviously we've always got small things that don't actually have to happen at the foundation. So always reach out. But, financially, if you're able to help, we've got spots on our page for that. We created a really cool way to be a part of our building forever, which were hearts or feathers. So we sold these little wooden hearts and you get to put your name on it and it'll be on our wall forever. And some businesses have some feathers to, help us with the daily operations of the building too. So, but always just spreading the word for us too. And, we'll have needs that come up that we may not have in stock, and I call it the 1 hour deal. If I put a post up on Facebook that I need a size, it just happened last week. I needed a size 10 pair of boots, and I was like, whoo, Woohoo! Sure. Can I buy them? Can I go pick them up? Hold on, I've got them at home. It just, it's just so great that, people really do want to help. People do want to do good things. And I think we need more of that shared.
How have you changed since starting this organization?
I didn't think I could ever be more emotional, but I'm definitely very emotional. It's just really good. It's just that feel good. Every time you're there and just being part of that. I think probably being more involved in the community and getting out there. Again, I think people downplay that a little bit. And, if I can't attend every meeting, then I'm not useful. And that's not true. Yeah. And I couldn't encourage people more, whether it's a baseball team or, your local church or the schools even. You may not be able to go and sit with a kid every week and read, but maybe you could do it once a month, and they would be so open to that. And I hope to be a resource for that, collective, that, there'll be a spot on our website. That's my vision, to say, hey, I've got time this week. Oh, I could go do this. I think that's something that's not out there for people to just easily find. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably it for me, is just the realization and being out in the community and what's out there.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
Yeah. What ages do you serve?
We serve preschool all the way to high school.
Wow. And you mentioned the prom project. Could you share some more information on that?
Yeah, it's something that's always kind of been on our thought, on our radar. And we work with Jenny Jordan over at the high school here in Oxford. And anytime we've gotten any dresses, she tries in her little classroom to keep things on hand so that students can go in. But we've also just kind of treated it as a special project. So with Poland, they just needed to be a senior, because in our mind, that was their last chance. And if they can't make it to prom, that's a memory they're not going to have. So we would provide 2 dresses and shoes, and they got to pick from one. And then a local hairdresser and a nail tech would kind of do those pieces. And so we've kind of treated it as a special project, but I first see that as something that will be added to our building as well. So,
yeah. What is the most rewarding aspect of your work?
The most rewarding. I don't know how you put just one.
I know. I was debating in my mind. I'm like, is this even a fair question to ask you?
I know. I probably working with the volunteers. It really is. And yes, we established this idea, but this is everybody now. I can't do this alone. And just the embodiment that people have taken on the project, and and promote it and be a part of it. And I don't ever feel like they're coming there because they necessarily have to. Not that they don't have their hours that they have to fill. I get that, but they're having a good time, and that's what I always want it to be. Just a place that people enjoy coming to help. So yeah.
Going back to your forever home, you had a lot of donated labor and equipment.
We did.
Was it all donated?
No, not 100%. I still don't have that final number because we're not quite there yet. But we probably have about 3/4 of this project paid for. Amazing. Before we're moving in. So that in itself is very overwhelming to me to think about. The day that Sam Cronin called me and said, nope, this is taken care of, and nope, this is taken care of. And, it was like, what do you mean? He said, oh no, I reached out to this one and they're good. Then, just send them this letter. And, it's like, there's thousands of dollars, involved there, but this project, when we sat down as a board, and said, okay, what are we doing? We can't justify a $500,000, $750,000 project. Okay, we have this temporary space. It never would have been even a thing without Paul and Floyd there. And they donated the land to us to be able to make this happen. So without that step, we wouldn't be here today. And of course, that's a little more meaningful for me because they are my boss. So as well. So. And Paula is part of the board and very involved in the operations of Pink Feather as well. So, yeah. So this is where the heart tug is for me, and watching it all come together. He's Floyd's been over there working on our driveway, and, Mark Bancroft, who is also on our board, he had his cranes over there getting the trusses set, and, and even the people that were on site were excited about being involved. Even though they were being paid, they knew what the project was. And I had gone over and purchased, again, the Cray construction crew. They had the building all set up, and it was just about around Christmas time. And I said, oh, I can't wait. So I went and bought a wreath, and I put it on, tried to screw a screw in and put it by the front door. And this is the impact of these guys and me saying that they really took this project on too. I come by there every morning for work, and they had taken my wreath and they had put it in the center of the building, and they had added 4 more wreaths to the top of the building. So just knowing that they really see the meaning of the project too is pretty cool. So we're very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Amazing.
So
what has this whole process been like for you as far as being the go-to person to have all of this come together? I mean, it's got to be...
Oh, yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. And kudos to project managers that have multiple. I mean, I work full-time, kept the project going, and kept filling packages and, and tried to, still do things. It is a lot. But, I mean, for the most part, these guys were pretty seamless. They worked together really, really well. Mother Nature was not kind to us in the beginning. And, with the donations that came in, they were definitely working on overtime to get our project snuck in there when they could. And, I couldn't be more excited.
Jen, is there anything else about the Pink Feather Foundation that you would like our listeners to know?
Just that we're really excited to continue to be part of the 2 communities that we serve. Again, MS 8017 and RSU 16. We look forward to some other opportunities that we feel that are out there to bring the community together and use the building that we have as a vessel for that. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for everyone out there that supports us and is a part of us in one way, shape, or form, whether I'm knowing of that. Oftentimes we'll have people that will bring us donations, and they'll say, oh, my best friend and my mom, and, I'm just the go-to, and, we appreciate that, so we look forward to continuing doing all these things out there in the community with everybody.
Do you foresee more growth for the foundation?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I don't think I would have taken this building on if we thought this was just kind of this is it.
Right.
This is how we're going to be. No, I definitely see us expanding. So.
Looking for a vehicle, but don't love the car shopping experience? At K&R Auto Sales on Center Street in Auburn, Frankie Campbell is known as your friend in the car business. That means no pressure, honest conversations, and helping you find the right vehicle for your budget and your life. Stop by K&R Auto Sales today and see how easy buying a car can feel when you've got a friend on your side. Jen, as we warned you earlier, we like to close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions.
Gosh, here we go.
Where Jacey and I will ask you questions that have nothing to do with your work. We're just trying to get to know you a little better.
Sure.
All right. Jen, what is your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to karaoke song? Probably Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Oh, Shania Twain.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right. Do you perform that? Or are you singing around the house? Or?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Because nobody else is there.
Okay. I'm just checking. We had one guest who doesn't even sing alone in her house.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Oh, no. When I get home, I'm putting the radio on.
And just letting it rip, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Jacey, you're up.
If you could speak any language or play any instrument, which one would you?
Oh, I'd love to be able to play the guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would be really cool to just be able to strum around the campfire and, just kind of relax. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Then you could accompany your singing.
That's
with
right.
The guitar.
Absolutely.
We're going to get her some lessons.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
All right, Jen, final question for you. If you had a time machine and you could go anywhere, past or future, for 24 hours, then you're back home. Where would you go and why?
Oh, gosh. If I had a time machine, I probably would go back to 1990 when my grandmother was still here and just ask her more questions in my younger self, before she left us. She was a teacher. So that kind of pulls at my heartstrings, with this program too. So yeah, I'd love to, yeah. What do you say? Sit by grandma's, hold her hand for, just a few more minutes. I was so young then. So yeah.
Can I ask what maybe one of the questions you would ask?
Oh gosh. I would probably ask her more about her recipes, just because, back then things were different, and those are the things you wish you kind of held on to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jen, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having us, and thanks for, supporting and doing all the things that you guys do out in the community too.
Absolutely. The world is a better place because you're in it.
Yeah, same to you.
Thank you so much. She is Jen Kyllonen, co-founder for the Pink Feather Foundation.
Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption for sponsoring today's episode. If you're a business or nonprofit here in the Western Maine area and would love to join us on Lydia's Lunch Bunch, I'd love to connect with you. You can reach me directly at jacey@lydiamediallc.com. That's JACEY at lydiamediallc.com.